cyclone Amphan crosses Bangladesh coast as cyclonic storm. The Met Department says cyclone very likely to continue to move northeastwards and weaken further into deep depression. The NDRO says over 6 lakh people evacuated from the coastal areas of West Bengal and North Odisha. Restoration work is underway. Train services to be partially restored from the 1st of June. The Indian Railways will start operations of 200 passenger services. The booking of all these trains will commence from the 10 in the morning today. These special services shall be in addition to the existing Shramik special trains and the special AC trains. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says the domestic civil aviation operations to recommence in a calibrated manner from the 25th, says all the airports and the air carriers being informed to be operation ready. The standard operating procedures for passenger movement also being separately issued by the ministry. The Indian nationals continue to be brought back under second phase of the Vande Bharat mission. 1,500 Indians returned from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Kuwait and Qatar on 9 special flights yesterday. The flight from Oman returns to Kerala's Calicut late night. Union Cabinet approved several schemes as mentioned in the Atmanirbhar Bharat package. The Cabinet approval for the allocation of food grains from Central Pool to approximately 8 crore migrants or the stranded migrants. Prime Minister says the several important decisions taken which are focused on the welfare of migrants, poor, senior citizens will benefit several citizens. The Defence Ministry approves the procurement of 26 defence items only from local suppliers to boost Make in India. The decision will help boost indigenous defence production. Active cases of COVID-19 stands at 61,149 in India. Over 3,300 deaths reported. 42,298 patients cured and discharged. The global COVID-19 cases nears 50 lakh, while over 3,28,000 deaths reported from the world over. Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News with me, Nancy Kohli. And first up, let's take a look at Cyclone Amphan updates. Extremely severe cyclonic storm Amphan made landfall in Bangladesh last night, leaving a trail of destruction both in India and Bangladesh. The eye of the cyclone, 30 kilometers in diameter and with a wind speed of 160 to 170 kilometers per hour, gusting to 190 kilometers per hour, coupled with heavy rain, hit across Sundarbans around 2:30 in the afternoon. Later last night, the storm crossed over Bangladesh as a cyclonic storm about 210 kilometers northeast of Kolkata, 340 kilometers northeast of Digha. The storm is very likely to continue to move northeastwards and weaken further into a deep depression during the next 3 hours and into a depression during the subsequent 6 hours. Storm surge as high as 5 meters was expected to inundate the low-lying coastal areas in Bengal. The eye of the cyclone was over Sundarbans, which is a vast mangrove forest that crosses India and Bangladesh. The area is under UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for being a habitat for rare and endangered species, and has protected the Royal Bengal tigers in the forest reserve. The extremely severe cyclonic storm Amphan crossed the shoreline of Bangladesh by midnight on Wednesday, bringing in its wake heavy rains, storm surges and flooding. According to the latest weather report issued by the Met Department of Bangladesh on Thursday morning, the cyclone was centered over Satkhira and adjoining areas and lay at Jinaida at midnight on Wednesday. The cyclone had weakened slightly as it crossed the Bangladesh coast. Almost all the coastal districts of the country experienced heavy rain and strong winds since Wednesday afternoon. In Dhaka, it's been raining since evening on Wednesday. And under the impact of the cyclone, the low-lying areas were flooded, trees uprooted and houses damaged. Many rivers in the country were flowing above the danger mark due to water surge caused by the cyclone. And let's now go across to our correspondent Rajesh Jha, who's joining us from Dhaka this morning. Rajesh, good morning. First of all, share with us the updates that you have as far as the condition after that cyclone is concerned. How is it like today morning?
Nancy, good morning. The situation here is, weather here is actually dry in Dhaka and Cox's Bazar and many other areas. The weather has been dry and not raining since morning. But there has been a lot of problem with the evacuation of 24 lakh people from the coastal areas, and the major problem has been that they have to be moved out of their places on the coast to places, to safer places with their animals and milk animals and others which are their livelihood. This has been a huge exercise. Government has said that actually 5 lakh animals have also been shifted along with 24 lakh people from those areas. Another important factor is that it is said that Sundarbans, the largest mangrove, have been very useful and very helpful in containing the impact of the cyclone on the country. And the fact that the cyclone actually weakened slightly when it hit Bangladesh and now crossed the coast of Bangladesh has been taken with a sigh of relief, because Bangladesh has been undergoing a severe corona outbreak, and the number of corona positive people has been growing very fast. Yesterday also it recorded the largest number of single-day infections. Now in this situation, to keep people at maintaining social distancing and keeping people in a safe situation is not an easy task for the government. But government has deputed more than 1,800 medical teams to look after them. And as the day passes, further reports will be available about the actual damage. The damage would come from the coastal areas where poor households are actually temporary household huts and temporary housing structures which got uprooted, and it will take some time for them to get back to their livelihood and normal life.
Okay. All right, Rajesh Jha, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing all those updates. We'll, of course, keep getting more inputs from you and other correspondents throughout the day today. Thanks very much. The North 24 Parganas, South 24 Parganas, Havra, Kolkata, East Midnapur, West Midnapur and Purulia Bankura districts have been badly affected due to cyclonic storm. The government of West Bengal will set up a special task force in view of the cyclone and consider ways to help people in addition to taking stock of the damage. And due to the cyclone, 5,500 houses have been damaged in 24 Parganas district of West Bengal. East Midnapur, North and South 24 Parganas districts have suffered the most damage from the storm. And heavy rains accompanied by high winds in the capital of West Bengal due to the cyclonic storm caused waterlogging on the roads. Trees were uprooted in many places and many houses were damaged. The wind speed in Kolkata had reached 130 kilometers per hour by 7 in the evening, blocking the streets and uprooting street lights. Meanwhile, due to cyclonic storm, many districts in Odisha, including Bhadrak, Balasore, Jagatsinghpur, Khurda, Puri, Kattak, received heavy rain. The Odisha government has asked the district magistrates of the coastal districts to take stock of the damage caused by the cyclone and submit a report within 48 hours. In the South 24 Parganas district, streets were waterlogged and trees uprooted due to strong winds in the wake of the cyclone, and suburban and rural parts of the district plunged into darkness with no electricity, while the local people joined hands for the rescue and the restoration work. Let's take a look from a correspondent, Momita Biswas from Kolkata.
Cyclone Amphan has created havoc in the whole of West Bengal. Currently, we are at South 24 Paraganas, and wherever you will see the whole devastating condition. Big trees has been fallen down, uprooted, and fallen down in the roads. Tower posts has been fallen down. The light post has been fallen down. There is no connection in the whole of West Bengal. Only in some areas there are connectivity. Currently, we are at South 24 Parganas, and you can see that a big tree has been fallen down. It's a regional area, so NDRF and SDRF teams are not able to come inside. So the regional people, the local peoples are therefore helping each other and clearing the trees in the roads. This is Momita Biswas for DD News, Kolkata.
And let's now go across to our correspondent Snehashish Soor, who's joining us from Kolkata. Snehashish, good morning. In fact, okay, we'll go back to him in just a bit as soon. Okay, he's there. Snehashish, good morning. Just give us a sense of the situation there. Of course, I can see these visuals of, of the trees that have been uprooted and, damage of sorts there been caused in the wake of the cyclone.
Yes, devastation is huge, but it cannot be ascertained right at the moment because the communication system is not working proper. And the cyclones which had come so far in last couple of years, this has caused the havoc and maximum damages. You can see this situation, that tree is uprooted, lampposts are uprooted. This is everywhere, in every street in Kolkata, and that too all the highways and all the villages and districts through which the cyclone has gone through. It is not only the coastal districts of South 24 Parganas, North 24 Parganas, East Midnapur, but it has also created havoc damage in the city of Kolkata, and after that through which districts it has gone, like Nadia and Murshidabad before it went to Bangladesh. So the casualty figure is so far, as per the initial reports, is 10 to 12. But actual figure is yet to be ascertained. The loss of cattle, loss of livestock, loss of property, loss of the agricultural produce which were lying on the field, and this is a harvesting season, and due to corona the harvesting did not take place as it should have been. So the loss of the agriculture product, livestock, human lives and properties. There are around 5 lakh people could be evacuated before the cyclone, and after that also evacuation is going on because there are some buildings which have become vulnerable. People have come out of their respective homes. So now the NDRF, SDRF, Kolkata Municipal Corporation teams are busy in cutting the trees and clearing the roads. And this could not take place throughout the evening due to darkness, and it was anticipated.
And Snehashish, also give us a sense of the evacuation that's underway, because it's like fighting a war on two fronts. You have to evacuate people and also make sure that they don't catch the COVID-19 infection. So how difficult, challenging it's becoming really to evacuate people at this time?
Yes, definitely evacuation was challenging because entire administration and everybody was tuned to combat corona. Now this has come, and thanks to the exact forecast of the meteorological department and the movement of National Disaster Management Force and the State Disaster Management Force and the administration, police, so people could have been evacuated. And not only the cyclone shelters were pressed into service, some schools had to be taken because social distancing had to be maintained. So more areas were required and requisitioned, and people were taken out and placed over there. But the evacuation is still continuing because as an aftermath, many people are coming out. They're forced to come out of their homes because their homes were damaged and they are anticipating any collapse. So again, this process is going on. At the same time, the assessment of the damage and then evacuation and the relief work has started. There are kacha houses have been damaged in various districts, as I said, and the livestock and the agriculture produce. So on one side, assessment of the damage and then the relief, both are taking place, but it could not take place overnight. The rains had to be stopped, and then the daylight had to be there. So in two-pronged way, these things are going on. A control room in the state administrative headquarters is operating. In the headquarters of the Kolkata Municipal Corporation, they are working. So the works are being taken up in a war footing.
Right.
But the damage could be ascertained maybe in a day or two.
All right, Snehashish, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing all those updates. We'll of course be touching base with you more in our subsequent bulletins to get regular updates as far as the cyclone Amphan and the damage caused is concerned. Moving on now, the railways have decided to further restore the passenger train services from the 1st of June for transporting people across India. The railways will start operations of 200 passenger services. The booking of all these trains will commence today from 10 in the morning on the IRCTC website or through the mobile app. These will be fully reserved trains having both AC and non-AC classes. General coaches shall also have reserved seat for sitting. There will be no unreserved coach in the train. The train fare shall be normal, and for general coaches being reserved, the second seating fare shall be charged and seat will be provided to all the passengers. The advance reservation period shall be maximum 30 days. RSC and the wait list will be generated as per extant rules. However, the waiting list ticket holders shall not be permitted to board the train. Also, no Tatkal and premium Tatkal booking shall be permitted in these trains. All the quotas shall be permitted in these special trains as has been permitted in regular trains. However, only 4 categories of Divyangjan concession and 11 categories of patient concessions are permitted in these special trains. The concessions for 4 categories of Divyangjan concession and 11 categories of patient concessions are permitted in these special trains. All the passengers shall be compulsorily screened and only asymptomatic passengers are allowed to enter or board the train. All the passengers must wear face covers or masks at the entry and during travel. No linen, blankets and curtains shall be provided inside the train. The temperature inside the AC coaches shall be suitably regulated for the purpose. All the passengers must also download and use the Arogya Setu app. Passengers are advised to travel light, and these special services shall be in addition to the existing Shramik special trains being run since the 1st of May and the special AC trains being run since the 12th. The other regular passenger services including all mail, express, passenger and suburban services shall remain cancelled until further advice. Railways Minister Piyush Goyal in a tweet said that the commencement of these services will provide a big relief to the citizens and will facilitate them to reach their destinations. And in a big move, the Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has announced that domestic civil aviation operations will recommence in a calibrated manner from Monday the 25th. All the airports and the air carriers are being informed to be ready for operations from the 25th. The standard operating procedures for passenger movement are also being separately issued by the ministry. Meanwhile, the Home Affairs Ministry has deleted the domestic air travel of passengers from the list of prohibited activities in the lockdown guidelines. Under the Vande Bharat mission...
Well, I'm very happy that we finally have announced the decision that flights will commence from Monday the 25th of May in a calibrated manner, and that these flights will go to all parts of the country. Initially, only a small percentage of the total number of flights, but depends on the kind of experience we gain. We will increase the number of flights, and this is a decision which was taken, and I want to express my satisfaction at the cooperation that we've been getting from all the stakeholders, from the airlines, from the airports. It's not been a secret. I have said actually that airlines and airports have been ready for the last 1 week. We were just waiting for the green signal, and I think I had also hinted that sequentially it would be necessary for us to first commence rail operation and only then bring in the domestic civil aviation.
Under the Vande Bharat mission, almost 9 flights from the Gulf repatriated more than 1,000 distressed Indians back to the country in a major evacuation process. The 9 flights that took off from Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Oman, Kuwait and Qatar to India brought back nearly 1,500 distressed and stranded Indians on these special flights. Talking specifically, 2 flights took off from Doha, 1 for Hyderabad and the other to Visakhapatnam, carrying 177 and 140 passengers. Two other flights scheduled from Saudi Arabia were destined to Kannur and Dammam and then Bengaluru. This flight later reached Hyderabad as well. As the Dammam flight had 164 passengers, the Kannur flight had 152 passengers on board. Also from Dubai, two other flights to Kochi and Bhubaneswar were scheduled. The flights ferried 177 and 148 passengers. In the meantime, the Kuwait-Tiruvananthapuram flight left with 175 passengers and the Muscat-Bengaluru flight had 177 on board. Another flight from Muscat to Kannur was also fully booked with 180 passengers and 2 infants. With the extensive rescue operation being carried out in the Gulf nations, priority was given to distressed blue-collared workers, medical emergency cases, expecting women, stranded tourists and the elderly people on these special flights. About 6.3% of the total number of active COVID-19 cases in the country needed hospital support. Addressing media on the COVID-19 situation, the Health Ministry spokesperson said that during lockdown, the hospital infrastructure has been upgraded, including the oxygen-supported beds, the ICU beds and the ventilators. He said the efforts of the government give confidence that we are ready and equipped along with states to manage COVID-19 cases. The Health Ministry analyzed the data from the recently released WHO situation report and found that while cases per lakh of the world population stands at 62, in India it was found that 7.9 people per lakh population were affected. He further said so far India has about 0.2 COVID-19 deaths per lakh population as against the global figure of 4.1. The Health Ministry spokesperson said that evidence shows that pre-symptomatic mild-moderate cases with no fever for 10 days will not spread infection. More than 42,000 patients have recovered, taking the recovery rate to 40%. The doubling rate in the country is 13.6 days. He further said that the main focus is on upgrading the health sector in the country. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.